a flight, but I wanna have fun all night. I could've took this girl if I wanted, but I ain't into throwing dirty laundry in the public. I can always make something out of nothing, cause I know how it was when it wasn't. Falling ships and murder that she wrote. Combination, always drink and smoke. Apathy could help the way I roll, cause I'm selective on how much I show. Time will tell, don't show me what I know. Know you have to only go for broke. You look good but act just like a hoe. You look good but I really want nothing but a good time. I ain't here for the fuck shit, paying no mind. If you're trying to show me substance, bring it on mine. I really want nothing but a good time. I really can't stress this enough. I always gotta keep it at a buck. I rather have money than lust, but I'ma look twice if she got a big butt. I have a hard time with trust. Hard time love is a new fine drug. It's okay, I'ma fill my cup. It's okay, I'ma still turn up. Pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. You love the dancing, you love the fight. Pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. I love the dancing, I love the night. Pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. You love the dancing, you love the fight. Pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. I love the dancing. I really want nothing but a good time. I ain't here for the fuck shit, paying no mind. If you're trying to show me substance, bring it on mine. I really want nothing but a good time. Why don't you just pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. You love the dancing, you love the fight. Pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. I love the dancing, I love the night. Pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. You love the dancing, you love the fight. Pull up, girl, to Barry Wine. I love the dancing, I love the night.
Form. I'm more focused on form. Welcome to an all-new episode of Butterfly Blackout. I'm your host, Emily, along with Truth and Jeff. We have a lot to discuss because we weren't here last week because I was stuck at the salon, and the myth is real. This right here was only 10 minutes, and I was there for 6-7 hours.
That math don't add up.
It don't, right?
I was like, yo.
Because she has a new machine that literally it steams your hair. So if you add color to it, it literally was 10 minutes for the color to set in. I was like, oh, cool. But I had to sit there and wait because she had other clients, but it took a long time. And then I couldn't get out from the dryer because with locks, you have to let your hair dry because any type of moisture, it turns into mildew smell and it's like a hot mess and all that good stuff. So we have a lot to talk about. Starting with my favorite, your favorite, everybody's favorite, future president candidate, Governor Andrew Cuomo. Yay! So he's denying allegations of him sexually harassing women. And, you know, the AG, Attorney General, came out this weekend, had a little news conference to talk about the charges or the allegations against him, and it's a he said, she said situation. Now everybody's calling for him to resign, except for the Me Too movement. Now they've been kind of silent. I guess Me Too is no longer in play anymore. We're not a Me Too movement anymore. Andrew Cuomo is acting like he ain't trying to resign because he's still saying that he's innocent. He's not guilty of any of this, okay? Maybe I touched you on the back and the shoulder and took it something that I didn't mean. So my question to you all is this. Should he resign? And what does this mean for his future run as president for 2024? Y'all act like he ain't trying to run for president in 2024. Now, the question really is he going to run as a Democrat, switch it up to be a Republican? Because, you know, the Democrats are coming for him hard, talking about you need to resign. You need to resign. Biden, if you still remember yourself as being Biden, who are you telling to resign, sir? Mister, you be kissing people on the cheek and doing a lot of weird stuff, okay? I'm not even sure. Sir, do you know what today is?
He was accused of similar actions.
And on top of that, when we talk about misinformation, weren't you the one, Mr. President, sir, giving the biggest misinformation, saying that, oh, if you take the vaccinations, you can't catch COVID. If you take the vaccinations, you won't be in the ICU. If you take the vaccinations, you won't die. Yeah, so I'm going to need for the president to have several seats. Now, the question again. Should Governor Andrew Cuomo resign? And what does this mean for his future run as president for 2024?
Start with me.
Go ahead, either one.
I think this whole play started as him, as a way to defame him in running as president in the future. I think 2024, the longer that this year, we haven't even got past the first year of Biden. The longer
Biden
his first
ain't even
term.
gonna get past the first year. Biden.
Oh Lord.
Hello, Kamala.
Yeah, baby, go just hold on a little bit longer. The longer this first term plays out, Biden is slowly sliding downhill. So it appears that the floor could be open for another Democrat, whether it be Harris, whether it be Cuomo, whoever it be. I don't think he should get out of office. I think he should finish his term and not run again. I don't think he should go for another term because I think his future presidential term.
It's beneath him. I mean,
What's
I think
beneath him?
this office. He's done all he can. He
No.
wrote a book. He's about to make a lot of money, enough to fund his political campaign to run for president. I mean, it is what it is.
No. This office is not beneath him. It's not beneath him at all. I think it's perfect for him. I wouldn't see him as a mayor or something like that.
Where is there to go if you're governor? Like, what do you do after you're governor?
Presidency.
Thank you.
No, not.
You
He
ever
could
seen
run
that?
on the cabinet.
I mean, you
He
can,
could
but
do
I've
some
never
other
seen a
seat.
mayor run for
There's
president.
plenty
Andrew
of other
Cuomo
things.
ain't trying to be no cabinet member. Andrew Cuomo's fixing himself to be president.
Why not? He could be secretary of the
Secretary of what?
whatever.
No, sir.
Something
You're gonna call him
interior,
President Cuomo. You ain't
whatever.
calling him no Secretary Cuomo. President Cuomo.
Oh Lord.
If you gonna go big, well, hey, if you're gonna go big, go big.
Well, what we got to
Good
remember
Lord.
is the pattern.
Good
here.
Lord.
And the pattern has been, because they tried it with Trump, it don't matter if you're sleeping with porn stars. If it has nothing to do with your way of actually governing or presidenting, it's not a word. But personal life and business life or professional life is different. That goes way back to Clinton. Trump just proved the whole situation also. So at the end of the day, you're not going to run into any kind of, I would say, wall just because he was accused. Now, being convicted is a total different situation. Right now, all we're talking about is accusations. And we all know this man is a multi-millionaire. He might even be a billionaire. So not one of those cases will be going to court. And what we also got to remember, civil court is different. So just like OJ, who got exonerated in court, he still was able to be sued civilly.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, a lot of these women who may have took it the wrong way, may not have happened, it's a payday.
I mean, Gloria Allred is their attorney.
I'm going to get money to sign this NDA and go sit my butt down somewhere. Because I'm sorry. Like, you really got to think about it. I'm worth $50 million. I'm not taking anything. It's all being given to me.
And it's not like
I
he's
don't know if
ugly.
you ever remember that movie, Any Given Sunday? They really be at the bar like that. For real. I'm saying, if you got that kind of money, that kind of bringing that money in, you know who and where to go.
The stories don't hold up to me. The dude went from Sarah Lead for 14 years to AIDS, young AIDS, You know what I mean?
He's a good-looking man. He's not ugly. He's a
I'm not even
powerful
on
man.
that
He's a
level.
good-looking man. He's in a powerful position. You in
You
close
went-
quarters with the man. Let's keep it a buck. A
You-
lot of women was probably already looking at him, trying to flirt with him too.
No. You're missing my point.
What?
You're
What's
missing
the
my
point?
You went from a powerful, pretty, well, let's call it beautiful woman of age, whatever. Yeah,
His
things
first
fall
wife?
apart. No, Sarah Lee was not his wife. Sarah Lee, they were together for 14 years,
Oh, and he didn't want to get
Unmarried.
married to her? Well, then shoot.
and she left. But here's my point: you had women of stature. These were classy, for less of a better term. Let me go get this chick out of college that they just hired at the office. Why would I risk grabbing her breast over there when I could, just like you said, I'm handsome, I'm powerful, I'm that. I can get somebody better or a prostitute, whatever the hell it could be, a good one, an escort at that point, so a high-priced one. You understand what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Now, the only thing they catch him on is the same thing they'll catch Biden on. He's an older man. He be giving hugs, high fives, and all this other touchery stuff, but that's for his age group.
See, and I
That's
feel like I feel bad. I blame his cologne.
Shut
And
up.
let me tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because y'all men, when y'all wear that right cologne, oh my gosh, it's not my fault I'm sniffing you. It's your fault because you wore that cologne and you smell good. And I think he probably smells good. Because a lot of these women be like, oh my gosh. Yes, Andrew Cuomo. Whatever you want, Andrew Cuomo. But whatever.
Nice try.
We'll see what happens. I mean, honestly, it is kind of suspect to me. I did say a while ago, a few months ago, something wasn't right about these stories coming out now. I think with the whole Me Too movement, anything that was happening to any of these women, they should have said something then. Something's kind of off. So it could be trying to derail him from running for president, but I don't think this is going to change anything. I think if he decided to run on the Democrat ticket, I believe he will get backing for it. Everybody else calling for his resignation, shut up and just do your job, okay? Let him worry about himself, okay? Because I'm pretty sure y'all got some stuff in your closets, too. Speaking of closets, you know what OJ said, since you brought up OJ? He's uncomfortable living in LA because he doesn't know, for all he knows what he said, for all he knows, he could be sitting next to the killer. That's a mess.
I see him every day in the mirror.
This young lady made a really good synopsis of what she believes actually happened. She said OJ's son did it.
What? Oh, his black son.
Yeah. Him
You
and
know
Nicole-
what?
him and Nicole
I'm
never
mad that
got
you
along.
emphasize.
The
I'm
full
mad-
black son. What do you want me to say?
Because you said his black son.
Because don't they call him that? Look, you seen all his children, right?
And
Oh,
Chloe.
now I got to be wrong. You seen all his children?
And Chloe, yes.
And Chloe, look at you.
Yeah, she looked just like him.
Nah, Chloe's the hair dude.
She looked just like
Chloe got that.
OJ.
The dude who do the hair got the chin.
Chloe is his daughter.
Nah.
Yes, because she resembled his other daughter. If you put them side by side, they were twins, spitting image. And if you look at all the kids that Chris had of the entire Kardashian clan and Jenner, she's the only oddball. So I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
DNA,
She
listen, we
can't
don't
have
see
it.
too many Morris to understand how this works, okay?
Kim and them are like 5 feet tall. She's 6'2".
Yeah.
I just don't add.
It doesn't add up.
If I was
but-
if I was Lamar, I would have took a sample of her blood and hold that over her.
Yeah.
You gonna have to pay me monthly. Cause I'm letting this one out. That's it.
you know?
It's your daddy.
Okay, so speaking of sexual acts, Coco Austin, Ice-T's wife, she decided to let the world know that she still continues to breastfeed her 5-year-old daughter Chanel. She said it's nursing for comfort, and her daughter does eat regular food.
Mm-hmm.
She said Chanel still likes my boobs. It's a big bonding moment for a mother and your child. Why take that away from her? If she doesn't want it, all right. That's where you stop. But I'm not just going to say no. I'm a mother. Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity or got the opportunity to breastfeed.
Mhm.
However, having said that, if I did, I would have. But your cutoff was around, I'm going to give you a buffer and say 2. Why you have a grown 5-year-old walking, talking, 5 years old, sucking on your nipples? Comfort for the child or comfort for you? This is Butterfly Blackout. I want all the smoke because you sat there and opened your mouth, Coco, talking about you let your 5-year-old daughter hang off your nipple. So I'm looking at you like, okay, and all the other parents that are okay with letting your kids suck on their nipples because that's what you're doing. 1, you're nasty. Number 2, if you're still providing milk, it's called pump and put it away and say, honey, here's the breast milk. This is what you drink. We drink everything else, but you over here can go ahead and get your little milk. Okay? But to say it's comfort, now I'm thinking somebody from Child Protective Services should be looking into that. A 5-year-old. So you're telling me your 5-year-old just comes over to you, rips open your shirt to get up on a nipple. And then your husband, Ice-T, who's a star of Law & Order SVU, goes to here and say that he breastfeeds all the time. Do y'all hear how you sound?
Wait, he said what? I missed that
Because he
second
sucks
part.
on his wife's nipples all the time, breastfeeding.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so
from
your
her.
daughter,
Okay. Yeah,
Chanel, is doing the same thing. What bonding are you having by your own daughter sucking on your nipple? So to me, you like the pleasure of that. You must, because I don't understand it. That chick is 5 years old. What are we doing? That causes alarm. Don't nobody sit here and tell me that you got your kids at 5 years old with teeth talking and everything, sucking on your nipples, and you talking about you enjoy it. It's bonding. She eats real food. No, you're sick. What else are you doing with your child? I'm gonna push the button. What else are you doing with your child that you should not be doing? How about that? What are your thoughts?
All right.
You don't find it weird that a 5-year-old is still sucking on your nipples?
No.
How are you holding your 5-year-old when you're a mother and you have a baby?
You don't hold them. At
A
5.
baby you're holding, because obviously the baby can't do nothing. I mean, the only thing the baby can do is just suck the nipple, right? At 5 years old, you're not holding. At 5 years old, you sitting here, the baby's got your, just like a man, grabbing the titty, sucking. So you must feel some type of pleasure from that, right?
It's all about nourishment. And if you have an opportunity of putting organic food in your child's belly, because it's, I mean, if it wasn't so expensive compared to all this pesticide stuff, you're going to go with the healthier choice.
Okay.
Now, as far as age-wise, I know some parents that go further than that age.
Yo, you rolling your eyes.
Because he said nourishment. Didn't I just say she could just
She go what?
pump and then put it in a can?
How do we
and-
know? How do we know she doesn't do
Alright,
that
so here's the
sometimes?
thing.
I gotta go on a
You've
video
never
shoot.
breastfed, so
Boom,
don't
here you
know
go,
that
baby
bonding.
girl. That's what. Oh well.
You don't know that
that's the point.
bonding. You've never breastfed.
But there's
is
a cutoff
bonding
time for breastfeeding.
How do you
Truth?
know?
What are you talking
How
about?
do you know?
There's a cutoff time for
How do
breastfeeding.
you know?
Because the
If
the
you
doctor
know-
told her. That's
Yeah,
how she knows.
Unless it's like doctors, you're
Just
right.
like the doctor told you to take the
If
vaccine.
you experience, like, say, if you
You don't know.
experienced whatever it is yourself in your life, was like, all right, it was a little too much work or whatever situation may be. Obviously, their work situation is different than ours.
Right.
But if you had the opportunity to spend that much more quality time with your child,
You're letting a 5-year-old child grab your boob to suck on your breast.
right? We're not talking about We're talking about a child doing a natural thing of sucking a breast. We're not talking about pants down or no craziness like that. We're talking about food and nourishment. We're
So
not talking
is
about anything vulgar.
her husband getting nourished too? Because clearly, if your child is sucking on
just
your
said that.
breast
How
to
many-
get
all right,
breast
so
milk,
He just
here's
said
the
that.
thing.
Yes.
There
You
are
are feeding
so many baby
the
daddies,
feeling.
husbands that love sucking on their wives or girlfriends' breasts for the milk. Yes.
Yeah.
Men do it all the time.
Happens.
y'all like sucking breast milk out of breasts?
Absolutely.
Why are you so shocked?
But again, like I said, your experience is different. You know, I mean, I think you said you and your son's father really weren't getting along towards the end. But at the end of the day, if you were able to reap the benefits or, you know, the extra bonding between you and your mate, it might be different for you. but you're talking like it's a crazy sexual act. It's not a sexual act.
At 5 years old, when a 5-year-old walks up to you and grabs your breast to suck on it, it's a sexual act.
I'm sure she asked in a totally different way. Their daughter is not handicapped of some sort to be like booby or out in the middle of something. No, she's not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of sexual acts, Disney World. So, 17 sexual predators, which include 3 Disney World employees and a registered nurse, were arrested in a child sex sting in Florida.
Mm.
Well, so you know what? When they say hide your kids, you gotta hide your kids. This was under the sting called Operation Child Protector, which involved detectives posing as children between the ages of 13 and 14 on social media, and that's how they trap the predators. There was a show called How to Catch a Predator.
To catch a predator.
To Catch a Predator. I used to watch that, and I was fascinated because I mean these people like, I just dang, and it's a lot of them too. And you know, I'm starting to think that they're trying to make it. We've had this conversation before, where they're probably trying to normalize predators to make it seem like it's okay for a grown 30-year-old to want to have sex with a 7-year-old. That's the P in LGBTQ plus that movement. But we won't touch on that. Let's just get back to this. So the suspects communicated with the different detectives in this undercover sting. One of the suspects was a 26-year-old named Javier Aquino, who was a lifeguard at Disney World's Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay.
When they arrested him, he was still wearing his Disney polo shirt, swimming trunks, and Crocs. Okay, they meant business. Now, he communicated online with what he thought was a 13-year-old girl, asking her to send photos, and he was sending her explicit video of himself. Now, mind you, she was 13, he was 26. They also added that this guy has a girlfriend who is 7 months pregnant with his child, and he told the deputies that he was a Navy veteran.
Was he?
Who knows?
Probably.
Because they left that part out. Go ahead.
Now, others that were arrested include 34-year-old Jonathan McGrew and his girlfriend, 29-year-old Savannah Lawrence, who were both custodians at Walt Disney World Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
The guy tried to meet up with a 13-year-old girl, telling her he wanted to engage in a threesome with her and his girlfriend. He sent the undercover detective videos of himself and his girlfriend performing sex acts on each other. The boyfriend and girlfriend duo arrived together at the undercover location, and then they were taken into custody. Disney World has not yet released a statement on these arrests. There was also a 47-year-old Juan Guadalupe Arroyo. He's a registered nurse. He was arrested after communicating with what he thought was a 14-year-old boy. He told the boy that he was 40 years old and detailed what he wanted to do with him sexually before arriving at the location with condoms. So, clearly this is a problem. Clearly this is an issue. Are our kids safe anymore? Because a lot of our kids have access to the internet. A lot of them are communicating with people that we don't know. Okay? These predators have ways of getting to our kids. We have a whole group out there that's trying to normalize this to make it seem like we should all just love each other and you know, be with each other and just have peace. But in reality is you have predators out here who are purposely trying to come after these kids. What love is it? Is being a predator actual illness? Question.
Oh, you ready?
Is
I'm waiting for you to
is
finish
this
your
an
statement.
actual
Go ahead.
illness?
Yeah.
Should these
So-
men be locked up and sent to an asylum,
So,
or should they be castrated? Like, what should we do,
so
men and women?
right. So you're talking on dangerous ground because it borders mental health. They have run certain studies on people, and they know it's a mental health.
Okay.
We're not we're generalizing when we say mental health. We're not being specific. You got Munchausen's, whatever. You understand what
Okay.
I'm saying? If it is a mental health thing, that means there are other people out there that have it. musicians, famous people, CEOs, you name the gambit, your neighbors, everybody. And they can run tests for it. Are they? Do we test everybody to see who's got this extenuation? You would say yes as a concerned parent, right?
Mhm.
But now you're talking about segregation and all this other stuff
Right.
that gets to it. Now, here's where they blame it on parents. Why is your kid on the internet free balling? Right?
Right,
I-
because we don't know what they're
I
who they're
know,
talking to.
I
right.
know, I know. There's so many crazies and lunatics out there. Snatch away that smartphone. Cut off your internet unless you're there with them or whenever he's on school or whatnot. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you are held responsible at that point.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then people don't want to take responsibility for that either. Oh, how I'm going to govern my son? Well, you're a parent. You're supposed to govern them until they
Sure,
turn
yes.
the
You
18
need
or
to know who
whatever
they're
it is.
talking to. You can't be blind
Yeah.
to the facts and say, "Well, I didn't know." Come on,
Right.
pay attention.
But a lot of these people don't. These kids work computers and items better than the parents.
You can, but still talk. Well, talk to your kids. Like sometimes kids, all they want is just to have a conversation. Actually, listen to them.
But not
Because
everybody.
some kids actually try to tell you what's going on and you don't listen.
But not
and
every
you miss
kid.
it.
Not every kid is telling their parents whatever they're doing. Yo, mom, I've been feeling like I've been wanting to get off, so I'm gonna go with Sarah and Jane, who's 45. No, they're not always gonna do that. They don't even tell them when I'm interested in somebody my age. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't telling my mother that. I wasn't telling my dad that either. Even I know my dad would have probably high-fived me when he caught me. When he caught me doing some shit. You understand what I'm saying? But I wouldn't.
Okay.
So but again, it falls on the parent because they had the action to come in. Guess who ain't got electricity this month? Good luck trying to get on AOL. You know what I mean? Whatever you're trying to get to. You know, it falls on the parent. It sucks.
It does suck.
I will say this. We have too many jobs out here that are structured to have pedophiles. And over again, it's happening. Catholic Church. You mean to tell me you're going to create a Disney World that's going to be surrounded by little children, and you don't think that you're not going to be surrounded by pedophiles?
Yeah, because let's be honest. Who the hell wants to work at Disney World?
Exactly.
What sane adult would want to work at Disney World? I don't care how much you
I
love
mean, you
Mickey.
really look at him like, what kind of man that wants to work at a men's prison? You know what I mean? It's just like you really got to really think about the jobs out here and who you're going to attract to come work at that job.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
scary. It has to be more and better. What's the word I'm looking for?
Supervision,
Supervision.
oversight,
Like
stuff
the situation that happened out there in Penn State that was going on for years
Oh, the football team.
with the
Yeah.
football team.
Papa Joe.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just like and Jared and his partner.
And they knew about it, homie.
And they know like these.
You
things
keep
like,
winning the games.
Ain't no grown man gonna start a kids program and be involved in it that intricate. Come on now.
Wow.
Come on. Like, let me get it before she start her menstrual. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on.
So, before we had mentioned the LGBTQ and how they may play a role in this, and adding the whole pedophile to the mix, because I believe that we're entering a part where this is going to become acceptable. It's all about love. It's all about. I mean, even Diddy changed his name to Love. It's all about love and accepting and being true to who you are. Well, the same thing is for the baby. People are canceling him left and right all because of this. At the last show that he was at, he was feeling himself, and he came out and said, if you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, or any of them deadly sexual transmitted diseases that make you die in 2 or 3 weeks, then put your cell phone lighters up. And then he said, fellas, if you ain't sucking DICK in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighter up. Well, the LGBTQ got mad. Okay. Many of them in this community are sensitive to a lot of things. I've said this multiple times. This is the one group that's the most sensitive. You can say boo and they're sensitive. You can make a joke and call them the alphabet people and they get mad over that. Instead of finding the funny in it that you took letters from the alphabet to call yourselves what you call yourselves. But when they call you the alphabet people, you can't take a ha ha he he. Now, I read this over and over and over again. And I'm trying to figure out What was the issue? Maybe it's just me. So he said what he said. All right, well, whatever. He's not the only one that feels that way, and he just said what he said. So, well, he's being forced to apologize, and he came out with an apology on July 26th, and he clarified that his fans don't contract HIV/AIDS because they're not nasty gay Negroes or junkies. He wasn't going to rant, but this has led to a call to action. That's what caused him to say what he said. He's a live performer, and he's the best at what he does. That wasn't good enough, pissed people off, so he went and was basically forced to apologize again because people were like, well, if this is how you feel about the LGBTQ, we're going to not have you on our platform. So here's the thing. You say one bad thing against the LGBTQ and they want to cancel you left or right. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, rappers be rapping about shooting up people, disrespecting black women, but we don't cancel them. It took a whole decade and a half before people started canceling R. Kelly, and y'all knew what he was doing on the side. So are we canceling DaBaby because of what he said? Or are we canceling DaBaby because of the mob called the LGBTQ? Because it seems like now everybody wants to school him on or educate him about the LGBTQ. His views are his views. He's entitled to have his views. Now, he didn't say anything directly affecting when he was talking, you know, to his audience about the LGBTQ. He just made a couple statements. Now, his so-called apology, he referenced gay people. Now, that's where he, to say he messed up right there. He should just left it alone. I don't really think he needed to apologize because he said what he said. I feel like if you apologize, you're only trying to please people that can't be pleased. The only way you can please them is by meeting with an executive and figuring out if you're going to be on your knees or you're going to be a bottom boy. That's just pretty much it. Because the next time you go on tour, we'll know that that's what you did, one of the two. Because that's the only way you're going to get back. Am I lying? Am I wrong? And let me know. So I feel like if you're going to say something, then you say it, own up to it. You don't have to apologize, and you don't have to go to a whole, please a whole crowd of folks because Elton John is his. Like, Elton John, go sit down. Okay? Your time is up anyway. Who cares? All right? Y'all like what you like, and people are going to say things that will offend you. Guess what? You don't have to listen to him. Many people don't like Elton John. Sir Elton John. Many people don't like you. And guess what? They just choose not to listen to you. That's how it works. All right? So DaBaby got bangers. He still got fans. So what? He said what he said. And y'all are in your feelings. He had a song with what singer?
Which one?
Dua Lipa. Okay, so now what you want her to remove him from the song because of what he said? See, now you're putting pressure on her because of him. I'm sorry. Well, R. Kelly wrote a whole bunch of songs, right? For a whole lot of people. Some of the songs are still being played on the radio because y'all don't know that he wrote it. Okay, because he's a gifted writer. Not reader, but he could write. I don't know if he could do both. But either way, that's how that is, okay? Now, are we going to cancel everybody because of comments that we made? Because of comments that they made? Because if that's the case, why didn't you cancel the president? He made some comments that were misinformation. Y'all ain't canceling him. Stop canceling people for their opinions. If they have an opinion and they use the stage to express their opinions to their fans, then so what? If you feel offended, walk away. Okay? Chris Brown came out and said, just get up there, perform, shut up, and be done.
Right.
Okay? And I agree. Sometimes you don't need to say certain things, right? But even if you do open your mouth and get reckless and you say something because you feel like you want to say it, so what? Don't feel pressure to apologize because the apology is not genuine. Because number one, they'll never accept you or they'll never accept the apology. Number two, you're going to have to apologize for life because not only will you have to apologize to one group, you got to apologize to another group because they're still offended. And no matter how you move, they're always going to be offended. Now, the people that you associate with or you had songs with, collaborations with, now they got to apologize for on your behalf because, oh, well, now it's this and that. You had a song, it's a hot, popular song. Now they want you off the track. Shut up. Why do you have to take food out of my mouth? I didn't take food out your mouth. So now I'm going to cancel you because that's the thing to do. You go up against the LGBTQ, now we're going to cancel you. That's the new movement, to cancel. That's the new cancel culture. You say one bad thing. So maybe the baby, like I said, the next time we see you on stage and you out here performing, it's because they let you. And that's only because either you got on your knees or you're a bottom boy. That is it. Okay? Because they're not going to let you go. Now, if you ever listen to Choke No Joke, he told you what the game was. You're going to have to perform some type of gay act to get back in. That's the only way they're going to let you back in. It is what it is. That's no secret. They all know it. Hello. Hey, Diddy Love. I'm sorry. I don't know if we can call you Diddy. It's now Love. Watch. I guarantee you something is about to come up. And then I'm going to be like, I told y'all so. But we're going to watch. Did y'all have thoughts on the baby? What kind of name is the baby? I can't say that fast.
Here's the thing. It was a business move. That's pretty much what it is. At no point in any of those comments did he say anything about harming or doing anything to anyone that do those acts. He just said if you didn't do it, then put a lighter up. So he didn't bash it, but at the end of the day, he needs to cash those checks so he can keep that, his multiple vehicles. He can keep that entourage. He can keep that publicist. So this was a business move. If they really believe that this man is sorry, no, it was a business move. But he just need to truly watch what he does and doesn't say, because this is a man who's already known for shooting several people and people losing their lives. So, if they want to come after him, they can. But I don't think he should have apologized.
Okay.
Well, yeah, after the second apology, I don't know. It's definitely his money. His money has been affected. They took him off of certain tours. You know what I'm saying? He lost endorsements. So he needs to eat to keep a certain status, whatever he needs, however much he needs. He can't just come out and continue to say what he wants to say. Again, he's going to have to follow Chris Brown's advice, do the show, say goodnight, thank you, get the hell off the stage.
But like I said, we'll know what happens if we see you on stage again. Now, who's going to be bold and ask him?
You.
I would. The baby, you should come over here. I won't put it on camera, but I mean, we can have a one-on-one conversation, off camera. If you dare. All right. Again, welcome to Butterfly Blackout. Oh, this is my favorite part. Oh, we're going to get into it. The CDC. The CDC says now masks should be worn indoors, regardless if you're vaccinated or not. Fully vaccinated can now spread the Delta variant. Where's your mask?
Oh, you done? You talking to me?
I'm not done, but where is your mask?
In my
The
car?
CDC says, and then next
Where's
week
your
the CDC
mask?
is going to say, first of all, it's my show, time out. Next week, the CDC is going to tell us to wear condoms over our heads. So that way, because the rubber.
Oh, Lord.
Look, the CDC says a lot. The CDC is confused, okay? Everybody's upset. I blame the CDC because the CDC was the one that said, oh, you can take your mask off if you're fully vaccinated. They probably should have never said that because they didn't know. They didn't have all the information. They still don't know. They're still gathering information. My advice to people is just use your own common sense at this point. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. People are over here getting scared about the Delta, the Lambda. Trust me, there are 20 more variants they're getting ready to release, okay? 20. And Fauci just told you there's one that's really, really bad. But we don't know the name of that one. Let's see, they're like the alphabet people too. So we have A, B, C, D. We got L. So which one do you think it is? What letter?
Is they doing Greek letters? Greek alphabet, excuse me.
Oh, is that what they doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Greek
So
alphabet.
Sigma. We think the Sigma is going to be the one that's really going to kill a bunch of people off. So that's not to scare you, but just know that Fauci already gave you all the warning. So I remember commenting, asking him, like, just give us a date. I mean, why are you just trying to give us a blanket warning? Just tell us when you plan on releasing it so we can prepare.
Jesus.
That's it. I don't need y'all to sit there and say, well, there's one that's probably going to be worse. No, dude, when? Like, say Thursday, September, whatever. So we know. Are we going to have Halloween or are we not? Just let us know.
Jesus.
So with that being said, Florida. Florida is on everybody's list. Why? They had 16 as of a week ago. Excuse me. They had 16,000 new cases within a 48-hour period. Oh, it's the unvaccinated. How about Florida has been open? Remember, while the vaccinations were being issued, the vaccines were being issued, the numbers were going down. We were not having anybody hospitalized. Everybody was living normal. But we failed to realize that everybody was fleeing to Florida. When you told the vaccinated people that they could walk around and do whatever they wanted to, majority of them went to Florida because Florida was open. Florida was free. Okay, they could do whatever they want to. So I'm willing to bet those 60,000 new cases that popped up are because you had people going into Florida spreading it. Because realizing now that you have this vaccine in your system, and the CDC did say this, you ended up making people asymptomatic. So they could walk around with the virus and not know it. Then you bring up kids are getting sick. Well, if their parents are vaccinated and they're asymptomatic now, which is what the vaccine made them, guess what? They would pass it on to their kids. Their kids didn't get it from an unvaccinated person. The unvaccinated person still has to wear a mask. They're not around anybody. Their parents are probably still paranoid about going outside. Okay? But the vaccinated ones are the ones having parties. In New York, they had a big block party. Some people had on a mask. Some people didn't have on a mask. Okay? They have to go back to their homes, meaning they go back to their children. Okay? Meaning whatever they caught, that's just like before this whole COVID-19. Remember, you would be in an office setting or you'd be someplace, we'll say an office setting where somebody was sick and somebody else got sick and then they was like, something's going around and you couldn't figure out what it was. It's the same thing. You're just passing around something, it'll go around, and everybody's going to end up getting sick. And then you go home, your kids get sick because you gave it to them. And you couldn't cut it off before you gave it to them because you didn't know you got sick. And you kiss it on everybody, and then boom, they're sick. Well, like I said, people got their freedom. They fled to Florida. We're not going to blame unvaccinated people. We're not going to even blame the vaccinated people. We're going to blame CDC and Dr. Fauci because y'all said, hey, you get your freedom back. We're going to blame your governor and your mayors. Hey, you got your freedom back. You all fled to Florida because, hey, regardless of how everybody feels about Florida, you knew you could be free in Florida. That's why you all went there. And that's why the numbers increased. Because you all spread it. Everybody had a hand in that. What Governor DeSantis should have done was say, But he didn't want to do that because, one, they want the money. Okay? One, he wants people to live their lives. It is what it is. Now, we talk about misinformation. I had the privilege of watching Roland Martin's Unfiltered, where he had a panel discussing this misinformation and the COVID vaccine issues. And it's funny to me because you have the list of all these people that are giving out misinformation. So they're kind of on the FBI watch list. There's a Dr. Mercado, if I said his name right. Brother Reza Islam is number 5 on that list. And it's funny. CNN rolled up on the doctor. I believe he lives in Florida. And they rolled up on him, but he didn't want to speak to them as he didn't have to. Like, he was out by himself riding a bike and you're rolling up on him. Why? Then you email, and he emailed back and he said he advised people to do your own research, which a lot of people that have been, quote, giving out misinformation, they all said the same thing. Go look it up yourself. I didn't just pull this from thin air. I'm telling you where you can find it. They even point you to the website. Go look it up yourself. The most important thing these people are talking about is they want you to look up the information so you educate yourself. Stop listening to Fox. Stop listening to CNN. Stop listening to everybody else and go back to the days of when you had a book report or you had a research project at school. You looked up those projects yourself. You did the research. Research. Not for everybody else, for yourself, so you can make an educated decision on what to do with your body. You can walk in and ask the right questions. So my thing is, y'all keep talking about Brother Reza Islam, but ain't nobody trying to have him on the show to debate him. And I had to think to myself, why? What is it that he's saying that y'all don't like? Which is everything. But why is that? I'm saying he's a hot topic. I mean, ratings would be ridiculous, but y'all don't want him on your show. Roland Martin, you don't want him. CNN, you definitely don't want him. Fox hasn't gotten hip to it, and if they did, they don't know who's going to interview him. He went on InfoWars, but the host of InfoWars has a big, thing with the Nation of Islam, so he was always welcomed on that show. He has a lot of respect for the nation. So for everybody else, what are you afraid of? Because he wants to go. He wants to smoke. He said he wants to debate Fauci. Bring on some other black medical experts. But y'all don't want that. Why? When we talk about misinformation, we mentioned this a couple weeks ago. We talk about misinformation. There was one doctor, one guy talking about, he had a whole list. All you said was, the vaccine does not cause infertility. There's nothing to suggest that it does. But you never said anything else about the other stuff he talked about. So when it comes to Brother Reza Islam, what is it about him that y'all don't want people to know? What is he going to say that's going to really upset your nerves? Especially about this vaccine, especially about the misinformation. We talk about, especially for black people, we talk about the Tuskegee experiment, the syphilis experiment, right? And we always use that as the main reason as to why many of us don't want to get the shot. There are a lot of people out there that are just waiting for FDA approval. And then they plan on getting it once the FDA approves. Now, the thing about the FDA is that it's supposed to take time, but they've been speeding up the time. So you have to wonder who got paid off to speed up the time. Because you only speed up the time because you heard people say, I'll wait till it's approved by the FDA. We're not stupid, but you play us for stupid. I bet. Just keep in mind, Zantac. Y'all know Zantac, right?
Dan acid?
Yes, by GlaxoSmithKline.
Mm-hmm.
It was initially approved in 1983.
Okay.
Okay. FDA pulled it. There's some ingredients in there that causes cancer. So the FDA has the power to approve and then yet change its mind. So you should be seeing commercials right about now asking if you've been taking Zantac. Well, you need to stop and contact the attorneys because it's going to be a whole big lawsuit. Okay? Now, this is the same FDA that approved a lot of drugs. And then they recalled a lot. And yet we have the FDA, and this is like gaps in years. So we could have 30 years go by before they pull it because there's something in there now that they found causes people to get sick. So this is the same FDA that takes 30 years to pull something off the shelves that is going to approve a vaccine in a year's time, and it takes longer than that, and they're speeding it up because clearly they got paid to do so. Somebody's pockets always get fatter. But you go ahead and listen to the FDA. Now, many people want to listen to the FDA because they trust the FDA, and that's what they're waiting for. Others, they're on black people. They're on the whole Tuskegee experiment situation, right? So, Roland Martin had this whole, well, it wasn't Roland Martin. It was, I think it was Howard University that had a panel of the descendants from the experiment, basically trying to get people to understand more about what happened to their family, their relatives, and to get people to understand that it's important to get vaccinated. Even one guy mentioned, this is priceless, how he did this because he thought God wanted him to do it, and yet he got rewarded with a check. everybody can get a check. You have people who are drug dealers making commercials. They got paid to do that, to convince you to take a shot. But let's go back into the Tuskegee experiment, shall we? So, I did some research because I felt like maybe I was misinformed about this experiment. So, let's start from the beginning. In 1932, the USPHS was working with the Tuskegee Institute and began a study to record the natural history of syphilis. It was originally called the Tuskegee Study of Untreated Syphilis in the Negro Male. Repeats, untreated syphilis in the Negro male. So, can't give a treatment because you're trying to study how it affects the Negro male if it was untreated. That's very important to understand. The study initially involved 600 black men, 399 with syphilis, and 201 who did not have the disease. Participants informed consent was not collected. Researchers told the men they were being treated for bad blood, which was a local term used to describe several ailments, including syphilis, anemia, and fatigue. In exchange for taking part in the study, the men received free medical exams, free meals, and burial insurance. Now, by 1943, the penicillin was a treatment choice for syphilis and was widely available, but not to the participants in the study. Well, they wouldn't get it because it's the study of untreated syphilis, right? Okay. So there's a lot of FAQs out there. All right. You have 399 men with syphilis and 201 who did not have the disease. Now, let's see. The participants were primarily sharecroppers, and many had never before visited a doctor. Doctors from the U.S. Public Health Service, which was running the study, informed the participants, 399 men, with latent syphilis and a control group of 201 others who were free from the disease, that they were being treated for bad blood, whatever. Having said that, the family members, the relatives that were on this panel was explaining to people that no, they were not injected with syphilis. The controversy was the fact that they weren't given a treatment. Now, I just told you that the title of this experiment was untreated. So technically, if I'm using you as a part of my experiment and I'm trying to study how syphilis affects an untreated person, I can't give you the medicine because then I'm not going to get what I'm looking for, right? Okay. So, intelligent man over here. What is syphilis?
Isn't it a sexually transmitted disease that
Yes.
destroys the genital and the nerve endings? Something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I can't break down 100% in there. But I know it's bad. It's very passable.
Yes. Sexual acts. It can be transferred through sexual acts, blood transfusion, or from mother to fetus in utero.
Right.
Okay. So, as I mentioned before, many of these men that enrolled in the project have not been seen by a doctor before.
Okay.
So the question is, how did you find these men that had syphilis if they'd never been to a doctor before? And because you're treating them and you know they have syphilis, but you called it bad blood, they ran the risk of giving syphilis to others, which they did.
Yes.
But you didn't treat them. So there's more crimes here that have happened. So let's go back to the whole syphilis. So you decided to run a study on black men having syphilis and how the syphilis works in an uncured black man. Oh, I'm sorry, black Negro. We've got to remember this is the 30s. We were Negroes back then. So having said that, you, being the relatives of these people, told us that they weren't injected. So if they weren't injected, how did they catch syphilis?
The world may never know.
Oh, we don't. Okay. So again, y'all can miss me with the BS. We're not going to even use the Tuskegee experiment anymore in any of our, claims as to why we don't want the vaccine. Because you all jaded. Everybody got a paycheck. Y'all sat here talking about, because they weren't treated. Well, you're not going to be treated in an experiment when it calls for you not to be treated. That doesn't make any sense to me. But at the same time, you're telling me that they were not injected with syphilis, but you had syphilis, but you ain't never been to a doctor. So you don't go to a doctor, never been to a doctor, but how did the doctor know to come to you and treat you for bad blood? How? Because if we put on our thinking caps, ladies and gentlemen, and remember this is the 30s, they ain't like us black folks back then, okay? Does Henrietta ring a bell? We'll leave that for another time. So we have basically local doctors who got paid to perform this experiment who, yes, injected your black relatives with syphilis. Okay? That's how they got syphilis. Ain't nobody just walking around with no syphilis. And if they had some type of ailment, they ain't go see a doctor for it. But the doctors knew to go to them to treat them for bad blood? Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, since everybody wants to talk about it, there was a settlement, 1974, which resulted in $10 million and divided into 4 categories. The living syphilitic, I think that's how it's pronounced, group of participants received $37,500. Heirs of the deceased syphilitic group participants received $15,000. Living control group participants received $16,000, and heirs of deceased control group participants received $5,000 because that's all your lives are worth. And yet you sat on a panel to tell us that, oh no, they weren't injected with syphilis, because you're not going to ask how'd you catch syphilis. And given that you were a part of an experiment and and $10 million was all it was worth.
Well,
for them to sit
time.
there and allow your relatives, your uncles, to go back to their wives, have sex with their wives, and give their wives syphilis. She gets pregnant. The unborn child can have syphilis.
Genetic defects.
Blindness. Oh, they don't care about that.
No.
They were tested because that's all we are to them. We're property. We're test subjects. Okay? Back in the day, slavery, they had, look at your OBGYN. You realize they used us, black women, slaves, and performed different types of experiments on us. That was the beginning of the OBGYN process. No pain medication, no nothing. They had to just take it. Well, they opened us up to look inside, perform surgeries, no medication. Yeah, they performed that on us. They got paid to do that. They don't value our lives. They never valued our lives. If they valued our lives, I mean, my God, the many lynching bills that are on the floor would have been signed by now, passed. I mean, the George Floyd Policing Act would have been passed. But see, with everything going on, you all forgot about that. Because, hey, like Roland Martin says, we're trying to protect lives here. Roland Martin even fired people because they didn't want to get vaccinated. It's his right. He doesn't care. You run the risk. If you don't get vaccinated, that's on you. It's a funny thing. The vaccines are EUA, emergency use authorization, right?
Yes.
And it's interesting because the FDA said, let me go back here. The FDA said basically that with this EUA, employers and everyone in the medical field are to ensure that recipients are informed to the extent practicable, given the applicable circumstances, that they have the option to accept or refuse the EUA product because it's not approved. It's just approved for emergency use only, right? And it also says that vaccines under the EUA are not allowed to be mandatory. But yet your employers are mandating that you take it. Yeah, Roland Martin is up here demanding that you take it. I mean, he will get on a plane with goggles and a hazmat suit to protect himself, but he's fully vaccinated. And I'm wondering, if you're fully vaccinated, why do you got to go through all that? Like, a simple mask would be just fine. You don't have to go through all that. Wash your hands, do whatever they told you to do. You could assume that the virus, there's a lot of different viruses out there, not just this. Okay, if you wasn't paying attention before, I don't know what to tell you. But he's demanding that you're vaccinated. So you're all scared about losing your jobs. For what? Riddle me this. If the FDA says that you can't mandate it, and even Governor Andrew Cuomo, go back to a clip where he was talking about the vaccines, and he said you couldn't mandate a vaccine that is emergency use authorized. He said it too. And now everybody wants to, because everybody's scared. No, everybody's not scared. Everybody got the same memo. Everybody got told the same thing because everybody speaks the same rhetoric. Pay attention. Everybody repeats the same thing. Oh, you should do it because you should worry about your neighbors and your family. There was a doctor on his show who was saying, well, she treats patients and she wants to be safe. So if you're not going to get vaccinated, you're coughing in my face. Never mind the fact that maybe you're coughing for other reasons. But I will question the fact that you're coughing, you're not covering your mouth. But I can, reject to treat you because I want to go home to my family. Now, what do I find a problem with that? If you're fully vaccinated, why did you worry about that? So who cares if the patient is coughing and sick? You're vaccinated. There's no real risk of you dying. So I'm confused by why you would reject a patient because the patient is not vaccinated. For all you know, maybe there's a medical exemption that the person has. There are some people who legit cannot get it. There are some people that got the vaccine, and guess what? The vaccine is going to do nothing for them. So they got it for no reason because they're compromised in a way that it does nothing. It's not going to work. There are some who legit can't get it because they're allergic to something. There are some that have other medical issues, which is preventing them from getting it. You're going to turn them away and call them names because they didn't get vaccinated? Oh, you're only talking about the ones that are using their own minds, that are using their own decisions. They're making their own choices as to whether they want to get vaccinated or not. This is America, for crying out loud. Oh, but it's for the greater good. Want to keep people safe. Okay, I get that. But why can't we keep people safe after you all figure out what's going on and give out the right, proper medication? Oh, but if you travel to Africa, you have to take all these shots before you go. Nobody questions that. Many people are not going to Africa. Many people don't have no business being in Africa. Okay, fine. You take the risk of taking those shots. And we're talking about this emergency use authorization shot that you're telling people, forcing them to take, which the FDA says you can't mandate that. We didn't even approve it. We just said, all right, for the purpose of the greater good, go ahead and use it. So people are without jobs because they decided they wanted to listen to their bodies, and it's their body, their choice, right? You tell pregnant women it's your body, your choice. And if you decide you want to get an abortion, to hell with the guy, go ahead and get an abortion. But you're the same institute that'll sit there and say, well, you can have that baby and file for child support. Well, maybe he wanted the abortion. Oh, how could you? But then you could go ahead and get an abortion. But what if he wanted to keep it? It's my body. It's my choice. A guy could turn around and say, well, it's in my pockets. You wanted to have it. I didn't. That's on you. Oh, but then he's wrong, right? My bad. I digress. So, again, it's emergency use authorized. And the FDA says you can't mandate it, but all you are mandating it, distracting the public from what? What's coming out? We don't know. Oh, well, there's 20 more variants out there. We know that's coming. Something bigger is coming. We know that. But what else are you distracting? Oh, yes, George Floyd. Yes, so now all that's over and the anniversary passed. We're not even talking about the Policing Act. So what else is coming? We're watching. But go ahead. Scare people. I'm just telling people to wake up. I'm just saying, ask yourself, all these people that are giving, quote, misinformation out there, why, if it'll give big ratings to CNN, why won't you have Brother Rizza Islam on your show? He wants to smoke. He wants to debate. What are you afraid of? You're probably afraid he's going to come out and say too much and y'all don't have nothing to back it up. Because he's got something for everything you're going to throw at him. Because he's done his research. He's not scaring people saying, oh, don't take it, you're going to die. No, that's not what he's doing. He's telling people the facts. Or is he not? Oh, no, he is saying facts. You just don't want people to know the facts. Oh, you have doctors who are saying take vitamin D, build up your immune system. Well, if we want to keep people healthy, what's wrong with that? Why is that an issue? I didn't know becoming healthy was an issue, but now all of a sudden it is an issue. So we don't want people to be healthy. Now you got a commercial saying how COVID is attacking the obese. And now you have this facility that's trying to help obese people become thin. Meanwhile, if you get a vaccination, you get free french fries, you get free food, you get free crabs, you get free weed, you get $100 here, you get thrown into a lottery there, and half of y'all still homeless. I mean, maybe some of y'all will get the vaccine if they decide to say, we'll get you a house. You can pick any house you want, mortgage free. If you came to me with that offer, I would take it.
I'm sure you would.
I wouldn't
You
even
would straight
listen.
swallow it. You wouldn't even. Don't even inject. I ate it already. There you go.
Listen, yes, I ate it. Because I don't like needles, so freeze it up. Let me swallow the pill. We'll be good. Hey, since y'all giving out stuff, and to those that already got the shot and they ain't getting no incentives, like maybe that's what the other checks were for, because you did roll out some more checks. So maybe those checks are for those who, say thank you for getting the shots.
For people with kids, not for the rest of us.
Oh, dang. So you leaving them out? And then we find out, because you said it was the unvaccinated spreading the Delta variant, and then we find out that it's the vaccinated spreading the variant. Because the vaccinated are now asymptomatic. Which the unvaccinated said it was the vaccinated, but y'all kept saying no, and now the numbers show that it is the vaccinated. So then you have people say, well, you told me to get vaccinated, and now it seems like the vaccination is not working. Then you have Johnson & Johnson, they're so bold, saying that their vaccine is beating Delta. Then you have Pfizer saying we're definitely going to need a booster. Fauci said, I don't think we need a booster. Other doctors say, well, I think we're jumping the gun with the boosters.
Right.
Now we have people saying, well, if I took Moderna and Pfizer comes out with a booster, can I take the booster?
What do you mean?
Well, some people are asking, if you took Moderna vaccine, can you take a booster from?
No, you would take the same family you took. Except for J&J, you could take anybody else.
The thing is, right now they don't have the data for that. So you can't. If only Pfizer comes out with a booster, you can't take the booster. Because they don't know how it's going to affect you, because you have Johnson & Johnson, you have Pfizer, and you have Moderna. They're all not the same. Okay?
Right.
Now, if Moderna comes out with one, then they'll say, yeah, if you have Moderna, you take Moderna. If you have Pfizer, you take Pfizer. Now, if Pfizer gets smart and decides to make it where everybody can take it, well, hey, they just made more money. But they're definitely saying you need a booster. But yet, the interesting part is that some of the other people, the other doctors are saying no. So now Pfizer, we see you. It's about money. And also, here's the thing. With these vaccines, they did admit that they could alter them. Pay attention to that. Because that means if I'm pushing a booster and they keep telling me no, I could go and alter so that way we're forced to use a booster. I'll get more money. Because you can alter the vaccines. With each variant that comes along, the vaccines can be altered to defeat the variants,
That
which means that, yes,
that was the whole point of the mRNA. That's why they want people to take the Pfizer and the Moderna and not J&J. J&J was grown using the virus. The mRNA is the same thing that they didn't want the people to sell their eggs for, because when you could do like the cells, and I'll make you super strong. I'll make you this, and you'll have this. Right? They can alter that, but that's what they need to do.
okay.
That's why Pfizer is selling a booster already. Wants to sell a booster.
Oh, yes, Pfizer, make your money.
Yeah.
Because who's paying for it?
Oh, starting September, just so you know, I don't mean to step on your toes. Everybody got to pay for the test and the shots.
That's going to put a hold on that.
So, okay, so here's the thing. Pay for your shots and a test.
You know, you
So
was just
then-
walking in and getting it for free.
So what's going to happen is nobody's going to do it. You can sit there and threaten people all day, but nobody's paying for a test, especially if you have to get tested every week. No, nobody's paying for a shot. No, because first of all, this whole virus, COVID, is nobody's fault here. So the government should take ownership of that, not the American people. Especially when you have our southern borders open and you're allowing people to come in, and many of them are testing positive, and you're releasing them out where? And you wonder why Texas numbers went up. The borders are wide open. He doesn't want them there. Oh, but the president said, but we're turning people away except for children. So now y'all just baby snatchers. Who taking care of the kids? Aren't you curious as to how some of them got here? Don't they look suspect? You got a blonde child with a dark-haired woman. Where the blonde white child come from? I told you my plan was simple. You come over here. We ain't got to have a long conversation. I'm going to put y'all on a bus. Meet Larry and Joe. We're going to fill the bus number 1 up. Everybody, that's okay. We're going to take, yeah, I got you. Just get on the bus. Get on the bus. There was a movie, Get on the Bus. Instead, we're not going to see a march. They're going to drive your behinds back home. Just make sure you tell him where your stop is. Okay? Because when he comes back, the bus going to be empty. Now, the next crew that came on, y'all getting on the second bus, bus number 2. And we want to keep going until you and your friends figure out that, oh, we crossed the border, but they take us right back. Now, if y'all hungry, we can put sandwiches together, field trip sandwiches. We can put those together, y'all pass them out so y'all can eat, get your little juice box. But we're going to send you right back home. That's how you handle that situation. We ain't got to worry about the court system. We don't have to worry about other people getting involved. No, you come over. Welcome to America. Get on the bus. It's that simple. I see you got 5 kids with you. Yes, get on the bus. Everybody get comfortable. We got plenty of buses. Go, go, go. Make sure you got all them sandwiches. Yeah, they got a lot of kids. They can have 2. All right, and 2 juicies. And then drive your happy selves right back to where you came from. I don't care where it is. That's where you go. Because right now, until we fix the U.S. of A., ain't nobody coming over here. Okay? You already cutting off American citizens from everyday life, but you leave the borders open so the illegals can have a better life? How'd that work? Is that what we're doing? I guess we'll never know. So y'all let me know if y'all paying for these shots and all that other stuff, because I'm not paying for a darn thing. I refuse to pay. You already taken enough from me. Okay? You've already taken enough from me. I have complied. I have done what you asked me to do. I put on a mask. I follow the rules of the establishments. Hey, if you don't want unvaccinated people at your establishments, that's perfectly fine. Watch your numbers tank, because you speaking for all restaurants, they just getting back up. And now some of the restaurants, y'all gonna be hurting. And that's perfectly fine. Number 1, remember, isn't the government supposed to work for us? Last time I checked, don't we vote people in office? Well, now they got big kahunas. They think they can control everything. How you feel about getting a pay cut? I'm saying we should all band together and say, y'all looking like y'all need a pay cut. Maybe it'll humble you. Because a lot of you lack being humble. Do y'all know what humility is? Maybe if we bring you down a size, you'll understand. Maybe when you can't afford 5 refrigerators and fill them up with different types of ice cream, you'll understand. Oh, well, the vaccine worked for me. It worked for me. Tell that to the people that died just by getting the shots. Tell that to the people who have had adverse reactions. Tell that to the people that are just scared in general, because you're not making them feel any better by calling them idiots. Who talks like that? But don't worry about it. You're trying to replace us with the illegal immigrants so y'all can have your way. It's all good. So y'all do what you want. In September, if that's how y'all feel, you want people to get vaccinated and have to pay for it, so be it. But keep in mind, some people are just waiting for FDA approval. So the handful of people that want to get vaccinated and wait, there's nothing wrong with that. You should respect them for that. Then don't forget there are plenty of people who haven't got vaccinated because their kids can't get vaccinated. So they figured they would just stay with their kids until they're vaccinated, which makes a lot of sense. Why am I going to be protected if my kid is not protected? Now you're telling people to wear a mask inside their own homes. So if that was the case, then I shouldn't have gotten vaccinated. I should have just stayed unvaccinated so we were all together. Right or wrong?
You make a point.
So it is what it is. But I'll be darned if I pay for anything, especially when y'all still don't know what's going on with this virus. But something's probably coming down the pipeline. As you can see in Turkey, they got wildfires that are going out of control. And you got mudslides in other places. Oh. There's a movie called Olympus Has Fallen. Olympus would be the White House. I'm going to use that same phrase and say Olympus has fallen. Something is coming. I don't know what it is, but keep watching, keep paying attention, do your own research, and ask yourself, well, CNN, if y'all got so much to say about Rizza Islam, then maybe you should have him on your show and debate him. They won't do it for the simple fact that he speaks more truth than they do. And they don't want that smoke. He wants the smoke. He's ready for it. I mean, you could just hold the whole interview. He just wants to talk to Fauci. Since all y'all want to listen to Fauci, let's go back and forth. Let's do this. Guarantee. But y'all don't want that. Now ask yourselves why. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.